Hey everybody, Spencer here, and welcome to the first Geek of Spades editorial, I guess. So in this series of videos, I basically just want to talk about random stuff that pertains to geeky things, but doesn't really fall into like a review or a let's play or what have you. And what better way to start it off than with the big news in miniatures gaming? Spartan Games has acquired the license to produce Halo games. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are kind of iffy on this, if not downright against it. And I can kind of get where they're coming from. Now, there's the people out there who are like, oh, Spartan Games can't keep track of the games they make, which is complete BS because Firestorm and Dystopian Wars 2.0 are both amazing games. Where I'm coming from is not the, they have ADD and they're juggling too many games. It's Halo's just not a good tabletop franchise. I mean, let's really break it down. Halo has, what, 4 factions in it? 5 if you want to get really creative. And you've got UNSC, the Arbiter, the Flood, the Covenant, and the Prometheans that appeared in Halo 4. Now maybe there's stuff in the extended universe that I'm not aware of because I don't read the books, and maybe there's stuff coming out in the 5th game that I'm not aware of because I just don't care, but there's just not enough variety of factions. And this is doubly true when you take into account their first renders that they're showing us are spaceships for a fleet game. That cancels out the Flood right there. And as far as I know, it cancels out the Prometheans because we were never really shown their ships. Were we? But even if they do get down to the nitty-gritty and infantry and tanks and stuff like that, I just don't feel like it has enough variety to really hold its weight. And it really doesn't have the appeal, I think. And I think this is the fundamental flaw with every first-person shooter, basically. They boil down to my faction versus your faction, and that's it. There's very few FPS games where it's multiple factions and there's like 10 of them and they're all doing different stuff, because that's what makes a tabletop game really good, is having a huge diversity of factions. Even games that don't have a whole ton of factions manage to make them feel diverse by having sub-factions and different things for different people. So I feel that Halo just doesn't lend itself well to tabletop gaming because it's too restricted in the number of factions that exist in the game. There's just not enough in that universe to really pull from or even expand on. Because let's face facts, Microsoft isn't going to expand the Halo universe for the sake of a tabletop miniatures game. That's just not their style. Now, does this mean that there's no way to make a good tabletop game out of a computer game or a video game? No, I mean, there's clearly ways to do it. We've seen good board games. I've played the Civilization game and enjoyed it. I've heard good things about the Gears of War board game. But as far as miniatures games go, you really have to work for it. You gotta really pick your game wisely. So are there any video games that I think would make good transition to miniatures war game? Yes. I think something like Rise of Legends, which was a sort of, not really an expansion, but a alternative Rise of Nations game, I think that would work because you could expand on that and then had some cool factions. Another game that I think would work really well is Heroes of Might and Magic, especially if you pick, one game and you kind of go from there. I would vote for 5 because I happen to quite enjoy that one. But it's also got a good amount of factions. I think all told, between the base game and the 2 expansions packs, there's 6, 7, maybe even 8 factions. That's enough, and there's all sorts of different monsters, and there's a lot you could do with that as a skirmish game that I think would be really cool, but I doubt I'll ever see. And maybe there's a couple of others. I think Sword of the Stars could lend itself well, universe-wise, to a fleet battle game, but again, I just don't really know enough. Now, we've seen a lot of the opposite. We've seen a lot of tabletop games going to computer games. I mean, you've got Blood Bowl, and now you have Mordheim, and you've got digital versions of games like Talisman, Ticket to Ride, and you've got Neverwinter, which is an RPG based on Dungeons and Dragons, or an MMO RPG, rather. We've seen the opposite happen multiple times and work to varying degrees. I don't play it as much as I used to, but I still really like Dogs of War Online. It's a skirmish confrontation game set in the world of confrontation. And it's a cool game, and it really makes me long for an actual tabletop confrontation game again. The only reason I don't play it as much as I used to is because I'm waiting for them to expand the game more. They've got 6 more factions I think they need to do, and I'm really kind of just waiting it out until the Griffins get released because the Griffins are my favorite army in that world. So yeah, I'm not really sure how to feel about this. I don't feel like if the Halo game tanks that it'll endanger Spartan Games and that they'll go out of business. And I trust Spartan Games to make a quality product. I just don't think Halo has the longevity to really be worth investing in. And it seems like a kind of weird idea to jump into it. From my standpoint, I don't understand why Spartan is doing it. I guess they're trying to cash in on all the hype for Halo 5. But do we really want the people who consider Halo to be this amazing game, the people who sit there and talk trash over Xbox Live and teabag each other and have that mentality? Do we really want them in our hobby? Because our hobby has enough problems and we don't need them adding to it. I just don't see this game succeeding. And of no fault of Spartans, I really don't think it'll be because the game's bad or anything like that. I just don't think Halo has enough pull anymore. It's just not as popular as it used to be. It's still pretty popular. It still sells really well, but I think as time's going on, people are kind of wearing thin on it. So yeah, you can make a good tabletop game out of a video game. There's no denying it. There's tons of games to pick from. It just needs to be the right game, and I don't think Halo is it. Now, if there's a video game you guys think would make an awesome tabletop game, be sure to leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear your suggestions, see what you guys think would make cool games. I'm sure I'm going to hear 100,000 people talking about how awesome a Elder Scrolls pen and paper RPG would be, and you're absolutely right, because that would be amazing. So guys, thanks for watching. I'm hoping to put out more of these as more stuff comes up. I've got some topics that I want to talk about, just random stuff involving gaming and movies and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Be sure to leave comments below. Don't forget you can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter by following the links below, and I will see you guys next time.